Hi everyone, this is your host Ruffin. Welcome back to the show. Today I'm chatting with Isabella Mandis. She is a freshman at Harvard University studying statistics and data analytics. She is the only undergrad student to be accepted into the Harvard Business School Venture Fund, and she's the founder of Girls Who VC, the first organization dedicated to bringing young women into the field of venture capital. I'm just obsessed with the community Isabella is building, and I am so excited to share her story with you all. Hi, welcome to the podcast. So excited to have you here. I've been so excited to do this for a while now. Can you start off by just sharing a little bit about who you are and what you're working on?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Hi, everyone. My name is Isabella Mandis. I'm a student at Harvard University, and I'm the founder and CEO of Girls Who VC. Girls Who VC is the first organization dedicated to bringing young women into venture capital.
So incredible. I'm a huge fan of Girls Who VC. Just amazing mission that you are working on. Can you tell us, before we get more into that, like a little bit more about who you are, like what you're majoring in, what you did before Harvard?
Yeah, so I've always been interested in technology, originally from New York. So as soon as I had an interest in technology, my first thing that I thought of was I got to learn how to code. So was really involved with Girls Who Code in middle and high school. Huge fan of that organization, really big inspiration to me. I was the first New York City ambassador for them, did a lot of their programs, and just really loved the mission and everything behind them. Then I kind of transitioned now that I had learned how to code, started doing work with some professors at different universities like Columbia, Swarthmore, and Penn, being able to apply the programming knowledge that I had learned to real world solutions in order to eliminate inequities in the world, which is something that I'm really passionate about. So did a lot of that. And then as much as I loved that, I realized that I didn't want to be a programmer for the rest of my life. So looked towards entrepreneurship, worked at a couple of different startups in high school. I was really involved with Curious Cardinals, which is an edtech startup founded by Stanford students. Really loved everything that they were doing there. I was running the financial aid program with another girl, and the founder and CEO, Audrey, really taught me a lot about what it meant to run a startup and also to be, one, a student founder, but two, a female founder. And she's a huge inspiration to me as well. So I realized that I'm really interested in entrepreneurship, startups, love speaking to her as a founder. So just started reaching out to more founders and just realized that that was really something I wanted to do. I came into Harvard thinking I was going to study computer science, but after being here, I'm leaning more towards statistics and data science, and then also a minor in education.
Super, super cool. Thank you so much for sharing. So tell us, how did you first come up with the idea for Girls Who VC, and like, why did you start on this journey?
Yeah, so once I realized that I was interested in entrepreneurship, spoke to a lot of founders, I started learning more about the VC space, realized that I was basically just doing what a venture capitalist does day to day in my free time for fun. So that was something I wanted to explore more. And the summer before getting to Harvard, did a lot of research, learning more about it. When I got here, joined the venture capital group and the MBA Fund, where I'm an investment partner at, where we source and actually get to invest in both Harvard student companies and then alumni as well. So I learned so much from doing that, realized that this is something I really wanted to pursue, and was looking for mentors in the field, people that could guide me and inspire me. And I met with a lot of really awesome people, either investors of startup founders I knew or friends of friends in different ways, and just started reaching out to them. And then as I was looking for more young women like me that were also interested in venture capital, I tried to find a community similar to the one I had at Girls Who Code, but couldn't find one. So decided to start it in December and made a website with an interest form and posted it on my LinkedIn saying, hi, if anyone is interested, fill out this form and let me know. I had no idea if anyone would be interested in it. And I woke up the next morning and had so many people reaching out to me saying they wanted to get involved, wanted to support me. So that was when I was like, oh, this is something that people actually want and I should do, and have basically been working on it ever since, every day. Yeah.
So cool. I love it so much. Tell us a little bit more about some of like either the workshops or resources that you're putting out through the community.
Yeah, so we produce content 6 to 7 times a week. And it was really important for me to provide as much education as possible because one, I'm just passionate about education. And two, I felt like when I was first learning about venture capital, there weren't a lot of resources dedicated to demystifying it, expecting no prior knowledge in finance or entrepreneurship or absolutely anything. So I wanted it to really be user friendly. What is it? What are people talking about? So that was the first thing I did. So we do blog posts 2 times a week. They come out every Tuesday and Thursday. And then we also produce content on social media, Instagram and Twitter 5 times a week, every weekday, and then LinkedIn 2 times a week. So that's the content we're producing. And then we also have a newsletter that goes out every Sunday. The newsletter is personally, I think, one of my favorite parts. We highlight every week a female founder and also a female venture capitalist, and then also just what's going on in the industry, highlighting people to cool podcasts or resources or websites that they should check out. And then also every other week, we have women that work in venture capital come and speak to us, which is super cool opportunity to just ask people questions. We start off by them giving a little bit of rundown about a different topic that they want to speak on that they felt would have been useful to them. But then it's just open Q&A to everyone. And then we also have a Slack channel, which is like the hub of our community where we do different things, post resources, internship opportunities, full-time opportunities, and then also people just ask super random questions where they want support. It can be VC specific, but it can also be like, hey, can someone review my resume? Or even, hey, is anyone in the Boston area? Let's grab a coffee, something like that, which is super cool to see.
Amazing. Where are most of your members, and are they mostly college students, or, is it a mix?
Yeah, so we're in over 10 countries now, so really spread out across the world. I'd say the majority of our people are college age students, but we range from high school students to post-grad people looking to transition into VC. And then, of course, we have our mentors that are already working in VC. But yeah, that's typically our demographic that we're focusing on.
Amazing. And the sessions you're hosting, those are obviously virtual, I'm imagining, since everyone is all spread out.
Yeah, so the events that we do every other week are all virtual, and then we sprinkle in some in-person events as well. So a couple weeks ago, we had an event at Harvard with the founder of Pair VC, which was super cool. And we invited a lot of the people from different Boston schools that are part of our community.
Amazing. And then is it just you working on this, or do you have a co-founder or anyone else helping out on building out Girls Who VC?
Yeah, so I started Girls Who VC, and then I think it was like the next day or maybe 2 days later max, this girl, Amanda Silberstein, reached out to me and she said, hi, I'm interested in VC. What can I do? Please, I will do anything. Just let me help you and support you. And I was like, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I need help. So she's really good at design. She does a lot of marketing. So she automatically just took our social media. She does all of our social media posts and everything. So that was a huge help in the beginning, being able to do all the Canva designs and everything and all of our flyers. So that was originally how she started. And then she just kept reaching out to me every day, being like, hi, I have more time. How can I help? Let me help you with this. Let me help you with this. So she has been amazing. She's a student at Cornell. She's incredible. So now she is the COO, and I'm the CEO. And then a couple weeks ago, we brought on a team of 25 other girls to help us build it as well. We have a couple different teams: content, community, communications, and education. So we have heads for each of those teams and then people under them working as well. So it's been really awesome to meet all these different people. People working with me are college students and grad students. So being able to meet these people across the country, have them help me as well, and just hear their insights. I think the coolest part about what I'm building in my team is that my team is directly our target audience, since they're all young women that are interested in exploring venture capital more. So it's really cool because every single insight they have, I think, is incredible because they're exactly who I'm targeting. So it's been really cool to work on them and see the team grow.
Amazing. Well, I love to hear that you're getting more women involved. That's super cool. From your perspective, why do you think it's so important to get more women into the space?
Yeah, so a common statistic that's talked a lot in venture capital is that 2.7% of venture capital dollars are invested in woman-led startups. But people don't really talk about the fact that there aren't enough women in venture capital actually getting to invest in these startups. And it's been proven that women are more likely to invest in women, and then also that woman-led startups perform better. So there really is no excuse why we shouldn't be investing in woman-led startups. And by putting more women into these investment positions, that's going to happen. So only 7% of venture capitalists right now are women. So my mission is to try to increase the women so that we can then have more woman-led startups and thus make not only the economy better, but just our world better and have more diversity of thought in companies.
Amazing. Well, I could not be more aligned with that mission. So I completely agree with everything that you're doing. What do you think are going to be some like tactical steps that Girls Who VC takes to like actually get women into venture roles?
Yeah, a couple different things. One, from talking to people, the number one thing that people that are now venture capitalists have said that they wish they had was mentorship, just a woman that they could talk to. So that was one of the first steps that I took as well. So we have a mentorship program. We just finished applications for the first round, but going to be opening up another round pretty soon. So in that program, we're connecting aspiring female venture capitalists with women that are already working in the field, so they can reach out to them, ask them questions, really have someone supporting them and that wants to facilitate that journey. So that's one of the ways that we're hoping to do that. Another thing in venture capital is that most of the roles aren't usually posted about online, and it's usually knowing someone who works at a firm, and it's just not really talked about. It's under wraps. So we're hoping to do some recruiting, place students into internships, and then also full-time positions to really get these women into the door with firms.
Yeah, that is so true about the jobs not being posted online. It's really crazy. You have to like dig and search them out. So that'll be awesome. Speaking of like internships and roles in venture, are you looking or are you doing a role in venture right now, or is that something you're thinking about over the summer?
Yeah, so for during the school year, the MBA Fund, I do that throughout the year. I decided this summer I was going in between working at a fund and then also doing some other things, but I decided that I'm going to pursue Girls Who VC full time this summer and really work on that. So I'm super excited for that. And I mean, we have only been around for 2.5 months and grow so much. So really looking forward to like 3 to 4 months this summer where I can really put my head down and work on it.
That's so exciting. I'd love to hear that. Super excited to see where it goes over the summer.
Thank you.
Since we were talking about the MBA fund, can you tell us more about, how you got involved with that, as well as like, what you do for that group and also the types of investments that your team is making?
Yeah, so I first heard about the MBA Fund because I joined the venture capital group at Harvard, which is an amazing organization. And the head of the venture capital group said that someone at the MBA Fund, I think, had reached out to him about getting people involved. And he told me about it, and I saw the application. I went on. I came to Harvard very much in the mindset that I wanted to do dorm room fund just because I had a lot of friends in it. I think very highly of the dorm room fund. So I was kind of like closed off, and in my mind was like, okay, I'm doing the dorm room fund. I'm applying for that. So I saw this opportunity and it seemed really, really cool. So I kind of ventured out and I reached out to them and I got the link for the application, and they didn't have my like grad year on it. I was too young. So I reached out to the head of it at Harvard and I sent him, I guess, a convincing email saying why I am not too young and why they should take me for an interview. And he agreed. So they added my grad year so I could fill out the application. And then I think I want to say 2 rounds of interviews and then a deliverable where I had to source a company and then write up an investment memo. So that was like the application process for it. So how the MBA Fund works is that it was founded by a couple. Now they've graduated, but they were at Stanford, Harvard, and Wharton business schools. And they created a fund to invest in students and alumni, and they have that legacy now, like continuing on, and they're still involved with the fund. So it's run by business school students, which is super cool. And so when I joined, I was just so excited to firstly like meet all of these business school students. I feel like there's a really big separation between the undergrads and the business school students. So being able to go into the building and meet all of them and have them be friends and mentors of mine was just incredible. So that's everything that I'm doing with them. They're not really specific. They're not focused on specific verticals. They're pretty agnostic in that sense. But typically they invest in software companies. And check sizes range. We have a pitch competition, which is $25K, and then the check sizes are $50 to $75K. And then for later stage companies, they raise differently than the fund, and then they'll invest more in that. So that's been the process, just reaching out to startups founded by students and alumni, meeting different people and getting to present it to the team. And then we all vote on which ones we want to pass through. So it's been an incredible experience and really, really awesome.
Super cool. Can you share like an investment that you and your team did over the past year, or one that's been very exciting to you?
Yeah, we had our pitch competition before the new year, and the startup that I think they got third place, it was between the three schools, but the startup that we presented that I thought was really cool was an app, and it connected with your Apple Watch. And so when you did exercises, like weight exercises, it would count the reps that you did. And also like when you did push-ups, it'd count how many push-ups you did. So I thought that was a really cool technology that we invested in.
Very interesting. And I guess just elaborating on that point, are there certain like spaces that you are most interested in investing in yourself and would love to learn more about what those spaces are?
Yeah, I'm really passionate about education. So edtech is always something that's really close to my heart. In high school, I worked at 3 different edtech startups. So definitely like love the edtech space. I'm super interested in that. But I'm starting to explore different fields. I'm starting to learn more about B2B companies and also software companies. Those are ones that I'm trying to read up on a little bit more now.
To that point, where do you personally find information on new startups or, information on new industries? And what are your favorite sources?
Yeah, so many different ways. One, I get a lot of information from LinkedIn, following a lot of venture capitalists. Also, Twitter. I was very hesitant to join Twitter. I used to vow that I would never make a Twitter account, but now I have one, and I read a lot of venture capitalist tweets. So that's a big way. And then I'm subscribed to so many newsletters I can't even count. And every day they're like, I just get a flood, and they all come in at the same time. But that's a really good way to read about them. I really like Republic's newsletter. That's probably one of my favorites. Just because I feel like, I don't know, I'm just partial to theirs. I really like it. And listening to podcasts. It's hard for me to listen to like whole podcasts right now. So I usually do a lot of clips that people will like repost on their social medias. So that's another big way too.
Awesome. And then other than Girls Who VC, are there any resources or communities that you know of that you would recommend for underrepresented founders and investors?
Yeah, I think there are a couple different ones. For investors, I think there are quite a few organizations dedicated to facilitating community for women already in VC. I know Allraise is a huge organization, and I think very highly of them. Just for generally the VC space, Gen Z VCs is also amazing. Megan is incredible. Not specifically for women or minorities, but still great organization. Yeah, I'd say those are the main ones that I'm focused on. But
amazing. And then as we start to wrap things up, where can people sign up for your community?
So if you go on girlswhovc.com, you can join our community there. And have links to everything.
Amazing. And as always, I always link all of those things in the podcast. And then to wrap things up, finally, can you share a female founder, investor, or leader that inspires you and a little bit about why?
Yeah, I would say that the number one female founder that inspires me is Audrey Wisch. She's the CEO and co-founder of Curious Cardinals, which is the startup that I worked for the closest to. And she is just really, really inspiring to me because, one, being able to start a company as a student, as a woman, and being able to believe in herself. Now she's on a leave from Stanford to pursue it. She has funding from different VC firms, and she is full-time employees. So she has done a lot, and it's also in the edtech space, and she's doing a lot of good and is also prioritizing their financial aid program, which is something that's really important to me as well. So I think very highly of her, and she has always been there to support me with Girls Who VC as well.
That's very incredible. Well, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Really excited to find ways to work together in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Future is Female. As always, if you're a fan of the show, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review. We'll talk to you next time.